We're at 22, so I've given an extra 10 minutes. But I think this is us in the room. I think we've got some people online. And just so you're also aware that we are live streaming onto YouTube as well. The sector have asked that we be as inclusive as humanly possible. And I don't think we could have figured any other way or added anything else to make us as inclusive as possible. So first off, I know that we have somebody new in the room to Bradford South. So I'm wondering actually if we can go around and do some introductions. Is that all right? The people
That'll be really helpful for me.
Okay, amazing. I'm going to start with Claire at the back, please.
I'm Claire at the back. I'm Claire Barney. I'm the CEO of Boys, which is this building.
I've not made that link. Visualised it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I'm like, wow.
Well, this is our enterprise park. We have community centres as well, which is slightly less posh. And I'm also the lead anchor for RCP, which is the Land Partnership.
Brilliant. Thanks, Claire. Mel, over to you. Yeah.
I'm Caller. Chocolate. I'm Mel Astin, CEO of BD4 Community Trust, and one of the co-anchors for BD4 Plus area.
And then I'm going to come to the front to James. Get up the road.
I'm James Blizzard. I'm Chief Officer of Restoring Kirkby College, based off of the BD4 community, and I'm serving with the colleges as well.
Sam Kirkby, I manage the Sutton Centre and the other co-anchor for the BD4.
So, I'm Morgan, we plan to start with that in Bradford South Wellbeing Hub.
I'm Susan, I'm Centre Manager at School Wellbeing and co-anchor of Wirral Community Partnership.
Kaylee.
Hi, I'm Kaylee McCoy. I am the United Art Project. I'm not a co-anchor, don't know what that means. I'm to hear all these co-anchors. We are just a grassroots organisation. We predominantly, well, we're a Bradford district wide art, therapeutic art, psychotherapeutic art. Just here to listen to what's going on today. Yeah,
Locality?
Community Interest Company.
What was the name?
The United Art Project. Art Project. Should have put on something.
And if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Ibrahim Hussain, Chief Executive for Schoolsmore, second day in the job. She's got me on a long shift today. 9 o'clock today, I think it is. Yeah. So been in the water sector for 20 years. I've come from Kirkby, so I've been an infrastructure body. So I work for third sector leaders, which is an infrastructure body, supporting monitoring community groups across Kirkby. So again, my job was community anchor lead. So we had this model of local anchors, lead anchors, being pillars of the community and helping small organisations to grow and flourish and develop.
Brilliant.
So I've got some anchor knowledge. I don't know if it's the same context in Bradford, but certainly in Kirkby it was about supporting smaller groups to develop and flourish.
Amazing. Well, welcome, and it's great to have you in the room. My team, Nadine, go for it.
Hiya, I'm Nadine. I'm the Sector Voice of the Alliance, and I will be involved in the Bradford South integrated county.
Evie?
Hi, my name's Evie, and I'm the Project Support Officer for the VCS Alliance.
Yes. Hi everyone, I'm Jess. I'm the Comms Officer for the VCS Alliance. I'm also a kind of tech person, so.
And I'm Kerry, Development Director at the VCS Alliance. And we're here to have a participatory selection process to enlist or vote in our VCSE sector locality lead. Just a bit of a preface at the moment. To let you know that in Bradford South, it is our only locality where we've had one expression of interest. So what we are looking for today is a positive vote. And I'll explain a little bit more about that as I go forward. But might be really useful. I'm just going to do a little recap. Who are the Alliance? What is integrated neighbourhood health? And then talk through the process of the proceedings, and we'll probably be able to get away, unless you've got tons of questions, much earlier than we'd anticipated. Thanks, Jess. Oh, okay, so who are the VCS Alliance? We are the Health and Social Care VCSE infrastructure organisation that spans right across Bradford District and Craven. We act as a bridge between the Health and Care Partnership and the VCSE sector. And really, we're working in partnership to tackle health inequalities and improve population health. We do this in three main ways. One of those is by acting as a risk bearer, both for the system and for the sector. We do it by bringing investment into the sector, so that is influencing and gaining investment from the system across Bradford District and Craven itself, and also external to that, but bringing investment in, and we've done that regionally and nationally, and also to harness the collective voice and influence, again, of the sector and the people that you are supporting day in, day out, and making sure that that voice is amplified within the system, and indeed bringing that voice back out from the system and sharing that with you. Next slide, please. So just a bit of a recap around integrated neighbourhood health. We have had Wes Streeting's 10-year plan. If any of you have stayed up and read that line by line, you may not have read anything particularly new. We've got the Lord Darcy's review, and we've got our local strategic review across Bradford District and Craven. There is a huge push to support of integration, and what that means is anybody who is involved in delivering services that are going to improve outcomes for people in communities, that they are part of an integrated neighbourhoods team that can move services closer to where people need to receive them, hence in their communities. And I guess the biggest thing for me is that the push and the collective push of all of those reports or strategic ambitions is that this is no longer becomes the exception, that we're really trying to push towards this becoming the norm. This is our normal way of working. It's the way that we do things around here. And we will be doing that through our locality structure, and we've got 6 of those across Bradford District and Craven. I'm not going to go through home to hospital to community, treatment to prevention, analog to digital. I guess it's just a reminder that this is the push. There is a real distinct push now from the entirety of the system about where we start to move services so that people can access services at the time of need in the place that they need to and or want to receive them. And relieving pressures on our acute care providers and primary care providers. So, the sector lead role, the locality lead role that we are recruiting to. Yesterday we spent the day out in Glusburn, in Craven, we went to Keighley, and now this is our 3rd session. I think it's really important to note, we've had quite a few queries over this, is that the expectation is that this person will have the ability to take their organisational hat off. This is not about advocating for your organisation in your locality. This is having the ability to take that off and recognise that there are numerous organisations that we can advocate and amplify the voice of strategically in that arena. That being said, you also must be part of an organisation because that's where the remuneration lies. It is for an organisation to backfill and to ensure that we can gain from the expertise, skills and knowledge of that person, but that's backfilled by the organisation. So we're not intending to remunerate an individual. It's an organisation, but it's an individual that's advocating on behalf of the sector in your locality. You will have seen much of this in the pack that was sent out, I'm sure, but the purpose of this role is to be the go-to within your locality, to work really closely with your community partnership VCSE anchors, forums that exist geographically and thematically across the district, and other VCSE providers and representatives. It's to use shared data. So what is the data that pertains to Bradford South, and how are we considering that in terms of strategic commissioning, universal proportionalism, population health, so that South absolutely has the right framework and is focused in the places that it needs to be, using our VCSE insight as well to really make sure that that we're using the data in the right way. Supporting the dissemination of feedback. So what are those feedback loops? How can we get information into the sector? How do we glean it and bring it to the system? And supporting and creating the development of a mapping exercise within your place, and so much more. There is, loads more. I think it's important to note at this point that all of our 6 localities are at really different points of maturity, let's say. There are some, we've already had one locality who are and have created what they're calling a shadow integrated neighbourhood team. So they're kind of testing this out already. They certainly don't have everybody around the table, but there is already quite a mature partnership in place. And other areas are at different stages. And so we anticipate that by December, there'll be a formal structure for each of those localities and a consistency across those, but that we'll be working to develop what those teams look like up until the end of the year. Next slide, please. We shared the governance structure at the last series of roadshows, and this one's different again. So I guess just important to note that this now has been formalised. The VCSE Alliance are and do feed into the Partnership Oversight Exec, as well as the local authority, the Children's Trust, the GP Alliance and the Integrated Care Collaboration Committee. The GP Alliance, GPs are currently, or that kind of element of primary care, are doing what we are doing now. So they are going out and recruiting locality representatives as well, and we're really wanting to align how we are navigating this process with primary care as well. And this integrated collaboration committee is this the hospital trusts, both Airedale and Bradford Royal Infirmary, as well as the BDCT, the Care Trust, are merging and forming a collaborative consortia to improve efficiencies, and that's that bit up there. I sit in the Integrated Acute Care Delivery Group, and myself and Helen Davey, as the mental health rep, sit on the Integrated Neighbourhood Health and Care Delivery Group, and that feeds into our 6 locality lead roles. So I will be working really closely with those, I'm going to say 6 people. 2 submissions were for partnerships, so there were 2, but 6 places to work intensively, and then how do we bring in the fold of the 13 community partnership anchor networks. Okay. So here is what happens now. Our candidate will present for 5 minutes on why they think they would be a good fit to be our Bradford South locality lead. And then we've got around 10 minutes or a little bit longer if we need to have a bit of a question and answer session. What we're really wanting, and what we have done for all candidates that have presented thus far, is for you to consider a couple of areas whilst they're presenting. The first is, what has impressed you most and why? And the second is, what areas of development might you suggest for that person? So they're the two things that we really want you to consider. Essentially, this is a recruitment process, and you will all know how important it is to receive feedback, good feedback, at the end of a recruitment process, whether you are successful and or not. And so we absolutely want to make sure that everybody who has been brave enough to put themselves forward comes away with something, whether they are successful or not. This will also be part of your vote. You have to offer feedback in order for the actual vote to count. And it won't let you proceed on the online tool until you've put in some feedback.
Tricky.
It's important to know that as a VCSE organisation, you have one vote. It's not a load of people from your organisation that votes. One organisation, one vote, and you can vote in all 6 localities. We said earlier that we were going to be as inclusive as humanly possible, and so from the time at which we finish today, the voting will be open for exactly 1 week for Bradford South. So it will close next Tuesday, are we on Tuesday? Yeah, close next Tuesday afternoon. So we've given the sector, the wider sector, a further week to be able to submit their vote. And you'll be able to vote for the other localities as well. Once we've come to the end of the presentations, there will be a QR code and there's a Microsoft form and we've got some in person. So however best suits you to fill out that feedback and submit that vote, let us know and we can support that. Anything else I need to add to that, Jess?
Don't think so.
I've just got a quick curiosity question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there was only one expression of interest.
For Bradford South, yes.
For Bradford South. So
Yes.
today, there's just one person presenting.
One person
So
presented
then what
today.
does that mean for the vote for Bradford South?
So it's we're looking for a positive vote, or an affirmation vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got you.
And
Yeah.
and importantly, the development areas. It's a big patch, and so what might you as leaders and or people that are delivering in organisations, what is it that you want, and would you want that person to be developing into the role? Yeah, does that make sense?
Does that mean that just playing it through,
Yeah.
you only need one positive vote to be voted?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think we would need to look at the entirety of the votes that come in.
Yeah. It's yes, no.
It's yes, no, yeah. So you do your feedback bit, and then there's some other bits about a yes, no for South.
And
That's
when
the
you
only one that we've
vote
done
in
it that way.
space, isn't it? People can vote, you can listen to the
Yes.
presentation for a week.
For a
and then
week,
cast their vote.
yes.
Yes, so, okay, thank you. Got you.
So if there were more no's than yeses,
Then we would have to have a discussion about that,
and it might go open again.
maybe.
Okay. Thank you.
So that is the way that we can be as inclusive as possible with it.
It's just because I'm guessing it's an unusual one with the being
It's an incredibly unusual one.
Is it the only area that's had one?
The only place.
Oh, that's the new.
We should have a chat now.
But it's interesting though, isn't it? And I guess we can open up a discussion about that towards the end about how come we think that might be.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. Like what's our agenda, yeah. I know what my agenda is, yeah. That'd be interesting. But then you are anchors. I'm still learning
Did
life.
you hear about it though? Did you know about it?
Yeah, just because I'm coming to the VCS Alliance meeting, just
Right.
yeah.
Right, okay. Because that's an interesting, because if people weren't aware of it, then we're not doing a good job.
No, I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I say I wasn't, I'm not in the Alliance, yeah. I was in the end.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Sam in a minute. But Sam is our Homewood resident who has worked in the VCSE for over 19 years, advocating and championing locality and place-based interventions. I'll be timekeeper, so I'll give you a wave at 1
That's
minute.
all right, 1 minute, that's fine. Right, that's off a real nervous, which is a good thing. So, I'm going to talk about my favourite subject for a little bit, which is myself. I'm joking. I'm going to take a little journey around a bit about myself, and you can see some of the journey I've been on. So, first things first, go to the next slide, yes, please. I need you to remember this. This is an important fact that you're going to take away today, that not about me, but about Yorkshire tea. So to make, on average, to make a good cup of tea takes 6.5 minutes. So brewing, depending on how good your kettle is, 3 to 4 minutes for boiling water. And then steeping your tea bag, if it's Yorkshire tea, you need 2 to 3 minutes. And then you can add your milk. I won't add sugar, because you're always going to have a biscuit alongside your cup of tea, and that's where you get your sugar alongside it. So important fact for you to take away is 6.5 minutes for a good cup of tea. Because at some point, I'll come back to the 6.5 minutes, because I've only got 5 today. So, next slide. Here we go. So I thought I would talk a little bit about me first. So I'm a Homewood lad. I've always lived in Homewood. If you haven't worked it out, this is me. That's not me. This is me as a kid. Grew up, my mum's alcoholic, so I grew up in a single parent family in Homewood. Various issues living on with a single parent alcoholic. And then, without getting too emotional, I got to live with my nan and granddad from a really young age, and they really shaped and moulded who I am today. And in all my work's for them too. In everything that I do, it's for them and in their memory. Growing up, I knew the NHS pretty well actually. I had a speech impediment, limiting how I could talk. I couldn't see well out of one eye. I got sunburnt in winter, being ginger. And as you can see, my arm were always in plaster from playing out, breaking my arm. I did break a leg, but I broke my arm more often than not. So I was a frequent visitor to A&E. So as I got older, my speech impediment went. I can talk, and I can't stop talking. That's my issue now. I can see very well. I still get sunburnt in winter, and as you can see, not that recent, but I still cost the NHS in plaster. My last injury, just as you want to know, I was ice skating on the pavements in the city centre at 3 o'clock in the morning with slightly blurry vision, but different blurry vision to when I was a child. I'll let you work out why I was out at 3 o'clock in the morning. But there you go. So I do cost. So I've experienced NHS from a young age all the way to now. You go to the next slide. You don't all want to see me in the hospital. I've seen the NHS when it's a beautiful system, supporting me with my nan and granddad in their final moments. It's supported in the emergencies we've faced as a family. But it's also shared in the amazing experiences that I've had as well with the birth of my girls. So I've experienced this bit of the top bit of the NHS and social care at the top. And since leaving school, I've always worked in the volunteer sector, so from the age of 16, so a couple of years ago. And I've always worked then on a locality footprint. So I've been honest and complete transparency. I've never worked outside of BD4 in the volunteer sector. So I've got a lot to learn, and I recognise that. So for your any development points, please put down only ever worked in BD4. There's a wider world than Homewood. I will argue that, but there is life outside of Homewood. But over the past 5 years, I've been at a leading organisation and learned how to build partnerships, how to run an organisation and try to save money, time and resource by building them partnerships around us. I'm still a Yorkshireman through and through, so even though our budgets have grown as an organisation, I still want partnerships that save the sector money, save my organisation money, but also saving the city money. And being wise in that as well, that where can we collaborate and make a real difference by not duplicating. So that's something I've worked and invested quite a bit in. But I'm an expert in my house and my house only. I'm an expert in what happens in my house with my girls and my family. I know we can work a lot better and a lot more strategically for our area. So next slide, I'm going to rush through these. So what would I do? Why do I think, why did I throw my name in the hat? I'm all about connections, so I'm all about having cups of tea. I'll drink lots of tea. But I'm all about making connections to see where's the energy in the room that we can harness and take and work things out. I'm all about conversation. If I do book a diary appointment and we have, please, if I say an hour, I need to, because I will chat. And my best learnings come from conversations with people in the room. I will collect and absorb and bring people on that journey. For me, when there's food at a table, it's for everybody. And the more people come about the table, the better that meal and that experience is. And I think that's the same for the sector. When we're all around the table sharing, we all thrive, and the sector thrives, and our communities thrive better than we try to do it alone. My fourth one that I've missed off is I'm happy to challenge. I get stuff wrong, the sector gets stuff wrong, the NHS gets stuff wrong. As leaders, we get it wrong, and it's okay for people to challenge that. And I'm never one to stay quiet. If I think something's wrong, I'll throw it out there. But one thing I'm not a performing monkey. I aren't going to dance to a tune, and I think the sector has to learn this, that we're not performing monkeys that get rolled out just to tick a box or to be along the journey to look like it's been inclusive. As a sector, we need to not be performing monkeys. We're all experts in this room, and we all deserve that right level of respect at the table, the right resource when we ask for it, and our communities deserve that as well. So I'll never be a performing monkey. But then my last slide is anyone for a brew, because there's three things that I'll do. I'll listen. If I don't understand, I'll ask so I can understand, and then going forward at that level, I'll talk on behalf of the sector as a whole. All right.
Great.
There you go.
Do you want to stay up there?
Oh, God. Go on.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, let's go for
It's on there.
questions. James, yeah?
Yeah, so capacity is one of the bigger issues, and I suspect it plays into why some people may not have applied for this role. It's something we considered ourselves. I know a little bit about your capacity, but would you like to explain how you might have the capacity to do this role?
Yeah, so personally, I don't work Fridays currently, and that's because of my girls. My Fridays have always been my day with my girls. My girls are now at an age where they're going into education, so they don't need the dad as much apart from on school runs. So I'm going to be spreading my work across 5 days a week. So yeah, so in terms of that capacity, it gives me a bit more. Whereas previously, I've condensed my hours until Monday to Thursday-ish. And I say ish because there's always some demand on a Friday at some level, but yeah, that'll be where my capacity going back to 5 days a week. So yeah, I've had that conversation with my trustees and with my family. My girls, I had that conversation also with my girls, recognising that, well, we all don't do 9 till 5, do we? And I try not to take support, but yeah, it was a conversation I had first at home, then with my trustees. So yeah.
Right.
Got a question. You know, getting involved, successful. What do you need from us? If you were like straight away on the tables here, I've got a big blank page. We're all sat around listening to you. What do you need? Initially, first pops come.
Initially would be what's your capacity and your offer, because actually I know the level of all the change that's going on. We know the NHS haven't got money overall, but they also need help, and it's going actually. I can only advocate on a sector that I know what my co-anchors do, so I can advocate going actually. If you want under fives, there you go. If you want youth work, there you go. Do you know what I mean? I need to know what people do, what their expertise are, and what people's lanes are. We all can't do everything, but actually I want to be a champion, the experts that we've got and go, actually, this is who we go for. So yeah, just need to know what you do and where you find yourselves and what you can offer. And when you're free for a cup of tea.
Do you want to go first?
I don't mind. For those of us who don't know you, me,
That's fine.
what is it that you've been doing for the most recent time in your work life, and what's your experience in leading and bringing people on that journey with you?
Yeah, so for the last 5 years I've led Sutton, the Sutton Centre over at BD4. That's grown from when I started. It was a brand new organisation. We're now well established to some degree. We're still growing, still learning. We're part of we're the wellbeing hub for the area. Obviously as co-anchor, got involved in that. But the biggest thing for our journey is community voice. So I think for me, the thing that I'm quite proud of is we're vocal on what the community are asking, not what I think. But around, amplifying community voice and making sure that communities are represented. So I've sat in, obviously through the Wellbeing Network, sat at various conversations with the ICB, championing the local voice and what's needed. But, being honest, Claire, it's all around Homewood and BD4. I've started to learn around the wider district, but I'm still new. I'm new in leadership. Previous to this, I was a youth worker. Youth work's still my bread and butter. One day I might go back to being in a youth club and just in that. So I'm still on that journey. I'm five years into leading, so 5 years as being a leader. So I've still got a lot to learn. But yeah, so I've done it in Homewood, I've done it locally, built some good partnerships locally, we've done some good events locally. We've, as an organisation, made sure that whatever resource we've got, that over 10% of that's gone to partner organisations. So I've always tried to bring people around the table and build other organisations alongside us, rather than just being for Sun. I don't know if that helps. But it's only local.
Right.
Whereas, so that's my complete thing of.
So it's a bit like that question. How would you put your stamp on it? There's 4 CPs, isn't there, in your world, one of which you're in.
Yeah.
Have connections.
Yeah.
With 3 that cover, I think, 5 of the wards.
Yeah.
They're quite complex, quite piecemeal. How are you going to put your stamp on that to get those people to work with you?
That was my question.
Yeah, that's fine. So it would be around the group and going actually out, but bringing people of how do we build together. So I think the key of not being for Sutton, and I've learned that alongside Restore and BD4 as co-anchors, that we didn't go into being a co-anchor for us. They were for the area and sitting in meetings, not champion for your own organisation. I'd challenge organisations, because actually I think collectively as a sector, we all sit in rooms where we champion our own cause, and actually as a sector we need to change that mindset, and that will upset people, and I don't mind doing that. And
we don't all do that.
No, we don't all, but as a sector we are very bad at it. So I think first bit would be actually, can we lay down our organisations, and that's a challenge to us, not just to this role, but to us organisations, to look at collectively how do we come around the table and build together, even though we might not benefit as an organisation. And it'd be them conversations that I'd start with first and foremost, which is a hard concept to have in it, that you can come to a meal and maybe not benefit, but you can contribute to it. So I'd have them tough conversations first, to then look at how we build, learning from what I've done, what we've done collectively in BD4. Go on. Sorry, keep going.
Sorry.
It's alright.
I'll just to be straight with you, I was going to put my name in the hat, and I ran out of time, which just rang bells that I wouldn't have time to commit to the role myself. So I'm only asking you the questions that I would have asked.
Yeah, go for it.
How open it's quite a commitment for one person, and I appreciate that you just said you've got a day a week that you're going to find to do it. How, given the dynamic of Bradford South, and you're very Homewood, and then there's all the other bits which happen to be, I've got Clewin each. How open are you still almost having a backup support, because if I'm going to put my vote behind someone, I want to be able to almost not be deputy, but you know what I mean? I'm an anchor, and I've got a view, and I work with the other boards and things. But how open are you to being really collaborative about working together and sharing what you hear with someone like me? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It quite makes sense.
Yeah, and
It's sharing the strategic stuff that at your level as locality lead you'll be
So that I can
aware
help
of,
you.
but you're making sure that all the other community partnerships that will still exist with anchors, that we are still getting fed that information. You're not keeping it to yourself or your area.
Well, I hope that you're going to do that in the role anyway.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, I would be, if you convince me, I would be happy to be more hands for you. So I would sell you and your words in that role as well. I'd like to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because if it was me, I'd want that support from the
But I think as community members that would be our role anyway, to support in that,
Yeah.
And say my question, what would you want in return? What would be different to sharing? I'm learning by the way, so I don't know how it
What
works.
would I want?
Yeah, like what we're having an agreement here, it's like, you know, not a deputy but a co, what would you want in the support that you give, because that's your time, am I right? That's your time as well?
Oh, we all give our time to nothing. It's more about just making sure, hopefully you would do it anyway, because it's about making sure that you're heard. As in, I cover the patch that you don't know as well, and I've been here 5 years and I don't really know it that well either, because it's bloody hard and it's bloody confusing and it's political and it's territorial and it's a bit of a nightmare. Sorry, but it is. And you get the dynamics of the different people. So I would like to be able to know that I've got that open closure to help you in your job. So treat me in the same way, not just as you're the locality lead and I'm the CP anchor, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think
It's not a negative thing. It's
no, and I think this role doesn't work without the rest of us in the room. Whether it's me, whether it's someone else, this is a place at the table that the sector's finally got. But it only works if there's a sector we buy into that model. So whether it's me, whether it's someone else, we all have to do that anyway and expect that it is a two-way conversation, but for years we've never had that seat at the table. Whereas for how I see it, we've finally been given an opportunity to go, we are the answer that they've been looking for. So I think
say we, who's we?
the sector, sorry, the sector,
you.
VCSE sector, us.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. I think it would be for all of us, but I think if it's me or it's someone else, there's an accountability for whoever's stood in this place, whether it's me or someone. As a sector, we need to keep them accountable and go, actually, are we getting what we need out of it? In the same way that the health system will go, are we getting what we need? But this only works if we all feed into it collectively. And so it's not Sam's got this role, so it's up to Sam to sort it. No, actually, it's as a sector we've got to sort it. And so as anchors, it's not up to just the anchor. If the other organisations aren't buying in, that's on them as us as a sector. Go, actually, we need to sort our own house out here rather than try to help sort NHS out and offer solutions. We need to sort out the sector first and go, are we working in collaboration or are we not?
To what extent are we?
Yeah, and what is a true collaboration? And for me, collaboration has to be time, resource, money. And if it's not all three, that's not a true partnership. And as a sector, we struggle with that because we go, I might offer a bit of time, I might offer a bit of resource. But as soon as it starts costing me money, this partnership might not be. Whereas for me, I go, actually, I'm in with all three. If it costs my organisation money to build a partnership, so be it, because it's for the bigger good. Because that's what a true partnership is. But if you aren't willing to share all three, I'd challenge going, are we really collaborating? Whereas I see on the locality, the partners we've got alongside us do all three. And yeah, so that'd be my challenge to me constantly. Am I all in with all three to really do true collaboration? Don't know if that answers it, but so that's my challenge. So I will always throw a challenge back. I'll take challenge, but I'll always throw it back. But if we want to build collectively, we need to be all in with all three. Does that help? I don't know.
Did it help?
You can all vote no, so don't worry.
It's also worth remembering that's a developing role as well. It's not something that we've got a template for necessarily before. And the fact that the several of the community partnerships that work at the South Patch cover a wider area than just South. So some of that shared intelligence will be coming from other areas upstream as well. So it's not, it's Bradford South role in this sense, but some of that message will get through around. So, just how long is the role for? Just to that?
At the moment,
That's
1
current
year,
page, just 1 year.
12 months.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Then we'll come to you, ma'am.
Oh, sorry, Mel.
It's
Claire
was
asked
asked.
mine. No, Claire asked mine. That's what I was going to ask. How
Okay.
are we going to make it bigger rather than now?
Okay.
So it's really great to hear what you had to say, Sam. I did get worried because you were talking a lot about conversations and talking to people.
Yeah.
And it was only at the very end that you mentioned listening.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask about how important you felt that listening and hearing were also part of the role and how you might embrace that.
Yeah, so I think that's why I use the word conversation. That it is two ways. I am the expert in not knowing a lot in terms of the bigger picture, so actually I know I need to listen and take on board what's the rest of Bradford South is. In the same way that I know locally, I'm only a few years in leading an organisation, so I started off doing a lot of talking, and a lot of this is how it's going to go, and that's why I should have had a slide listing all my mistakes. But I know that actually in this role, there's a lot of intelligence that people don't know, and it's how this is a chance for the sector to really showcase that. And I think this role in them conversations is around finding them golden gems of information of what organisations do and what can offer to feed into the sector. But on the other way is also listening for them opportunities, because NHS for me at the minute, how we're going from hospital into communities is the most exciting time to be working alongside NHS in a long time. But there's opportunities, you've just got to be listening to the right, the right conversations, but also listening what's underneath all that. So at the minute, we know sadly, colleagues in the ICB are going through a terrible time with their redundancies and their cutbacks. But going actually in all that, we know as a sector, when things get cut back, there's an opportunity for growth, there's an opportunity for doing things differently. But it's how you find and listen to that positive voice when things are looking quite bleak. I think that's what we can offer as a sector as well.
Thank you.
Just another curious question.
Sure.
And I don't know if it's addressed to you or you as well, Kerry. Like this role now, would Sam or the Bradford South member be given any structure to adhere to that links with the other 6 or 5 localities? Or is it Sam, if he got in role, design it for Bradford South yourself with your anchors and your people? Or are you got input?
Oh, he's got to fly solo. No.
Because there must be some standardised.
Absolutely. So, and I think there's different layers to that. So, so there will be organisational development work happening at a kind of ICB layer to really kind of solidify the governance framework around what that integrated team looks like, integrated neighbourhood team looks like. Then each locality will have from the Alliance a relationship manager in South, it's Nadine, that will be supporting, convening the sector with the networks that we already have in place. And they will work extensively with me and as a cohort to build a consistent framework in which we operate, because of course we want to be able to, that feedback loop that we keep talking about, bottom it off once and for all so that we're doing it consistently right across the place, but that we have the ability to act locally. So whatever it is that's right and making it bespoke for Bradford South and or whatever or other locality. So one of the first steps will be to bring all of those 6 locality leaders together and create a memorandum of understanding or a partnership agreement, whatever we decide on about what is the way that we're going to work together. And then there need to be some more formal structured conversations with community anchors about, right, how do we do this? How do we get better? And that really is the starting place for me. then how do we get out to the wider sector? Yeah. Does that answer that?
Yeah, it does. It just
So,
levels of protection or
yeah,
boundaries and stuff.
absolutely. Nobody's flying solo. We are absolutely wrapped around. And I think it was interesting, the word that you used, Sam, around accountability. And I think that's really important, because I also have to be held accountable in where I sit too. So I need those locality leads to do what it is that we're saying on the tin in order for me to do, and the Alliance to do what it needs to do strategically too. So we're starting to embed in these real, layers of accountability where we can be open and challenged on that as well. Yeah. Any other questions?
I guess there's one question here. I don't know if Sam has answered it. So where do you see the biggest challenge in coordinating Bradford South as a big area?
I suppose the biggest challenge is really showcasing the depth of Bradford South, the fact that you've got the heights of Queensbury and Mountain and the prospect there, right across to the edge of Homewood, outskirts of Tidesville. You're going, how do you sell that to a system that, and then you've got Great Hall and this rider in between, going, when there's such a disparity in communities, to then look at where healthcare is going towards, no matter which postcode you're sitting, your service is the same, or going, actually we've got such diverse communities. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge, going, how do you look at, getting all the communities to look the same in the system when, we've got such diverse communities from prosperity, ethnicity, access to health, buildings, resource, community resource in that. I think that would be the biggest challenge, I think.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Go for it.
What wellbeing practices will you invest in yourself to make sure you can manage this effectively with the other roles?
And I mentioned this at the roadshow, I think for this role it'd be a separate number, separate email. So that, one, if it goes down here to someone else, that learning, them contacts, that expertise is passed on instantly, but also allows it to be separate to an organisation. I wouldn't want the crossover of it popping up on my day-to-day, even though, don't mean that the inbox won't be active, but it'd be that separation, different hat. And one, because I also know it is on my radar, I would also make sure that when I need to start running again, just for my own mental health, I do need to do that. That's a wider conversation that I'm having, especially after a good summer, as you can tell. But then also, practically, I'd also have to look at where do my girls find the time that they lose with me going 5 days a week. So yeah, that'd be everything.
His jeans will start looking like yours, Kayla.
Yeah.
Some creative art.
Great.
And I think there is also opportunities in that wider locality framework for peer support, active action learning set between those 6 roles. We're investing in Luminous Spark, psychometric testing, and then we're looking at how we roll that out to other areas of the kind of framework that we've got. So there's definitely plenty in scope. Yeah. Any more burning questions? No?
Well, it's kind of a question for both, really. So, with the mapping exercise that this will entail, and handling all the data, is it a case of we'll be using all practices to manage that data and share it among Bradford South, or will the development of a new data set or a new way of handling data be handled by the Alliance that will then talk to Sam, who will then give it out to the rest of us?
Good question. The answer is, the quick one is, we're not sure yet. It will depend what each locality have. We are really pushing the system to choose one, because we are funding multiple right across the district, which makes it difficult, particularly for the sector, to make sure that information is live and relevant and applicable across all of those. As part of the wider integrated neighbourhood health conversation in that board, that is one of the things that we're talking about, is how do we collectively collate. And I think the other part of that is not just that mapping exercise, but also how do we cross-reference that with all of the population health data that we've got about each locality, and how do we start to merge that? So who are the organisations then that are delivering in serious mental illness, MSK, you know, etc., etc., and really starting to align those up, because that will be, that's what we're pushing for at the moment, is we've got that high level district and Craven wide population health, but what does that mean at a locality layer for each of those segments? So there's lots of work already going on in the background, so that certainly by next month we can kind of get off to a really good start in each locality, and we've got much more awareness of where we're headed. Then I think the tool that we use will be kind of as a result of what it is that we're finding. Yeah.
And I think for me, the role of the lead would bring some of that data to life as well. So we can all throw into our things what we do as organisations, but that doesn't fully tell the story of our organisation. I think actually, as a lead, yeah, you can't hold all that information, but at least if someone went, are you aware of Restore? Actually, yeah, this is what I do, this is where they deliver, and this is some of the impact beyond just the story of what's in that directory. So that's why I'd see some of that role as well, to help people understand what really goes on in our sector.
Okay, that was a bit longer than 10 minutes, but
Right.
you kept pace. Well done, Sam.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, to the next slide. Me again.